Hello everyone and welcome back to the project. I hope you're doing alright. Today we're gonna focus on the rig. Okay, remember the one we created last time? What we're gonna do is improve it and then use it to create a walk cycle. Okay, so remember in pose mode I could select a bone and then move it this way. Those bones, usually we call them deforming bones because they are the one who are gonna deform your mesh. Okay, and here you can see there are layers, and when you are in edit mode you can change, pressing the M key on your keyboard, the layers on which a bone is. Here you can see I have my bone on this layer. It's not visible, and the empty or the full dots means that the selected bones is on the layer where the dot is full. Okay, so when you click on one of these layers it displays the bones that are inside, and now I'm just gonna move them all to the first layer. Okay, next, usually sometimes in a complex rig have mechanism bones. Those helps the rig to work the intended way, but this we are not gonna use. And lastly, you've got control bones, and they are the one beside the deforming bones that we're gonna use today. Okay? So first, I wanted to talk about the way we animate things at the moment. This is called forward kinematics, or FK, meaning that if you want a limb to move, you just move the first one in the chain, and then the second one and the third one. That is useful sometimes, but it's not the best way to animate if you animate a human. We work with something that is called IK, or inverse kinematics, meaning that the last part of your limb will drive the movement of the others. When you move your foot, you don't think about how your leg is moving. Okay? So what I'm gonna do is create another bone in front of my ankle. Okay? And then select the ankle, and then I'm just gonna add here a constraint which is called inverse kinematic. Okay, from there I can choose my armature, my control bone. Okay, and now you can see when I move my control bone, of course all my rig is moving. This is because we need to set a limit to the chain that it is controlling. If this number is set to 0, it means there is no limit. It will go up to the hips, which is the parent of everything. Okay, and if I set this number to 2, you can see it's stopping here at the top of our leg. And now if I move it, you can see my leg is moving with it. There's a problem. If I move it too high, the leg is changing its direction. This is because we need this third parameter here, which is the pole object. So I'm just gonna duplicate this bone. Okay, move it in front of my rig, and then choose it as my pole bone. And then what we can see here, we still have a little bit of problem. The leg is turned 90 degrees. Okay, if I move my pole bone, you can see it's rotating my leg. This is because I have another parameter here I can set to, let's say, 90 degrees, and now my leg is facing my pole correctly. Okay, this means that if I move my leg up, I don't have any problem anymore unless I move my control bone further away than my pole bone, and in this case I just need to move my pole bone just a bit further. Okay, so that's the basics of IK. And now what I'm gonna do is move my control and my pole rig into another layer. Okay, so that when I animate later, I can only display this one. I don't need the deforming bones. Okay, and this way it's just easier to animate my character later on. Okay, just like that. So what we're gonna do now is, of course, to finish the rig, I can use the symmetrize options as long as I've nailed my bones correctly. Okay, with this, so I can remove one leg and then duplicate the one which is done. Okay, and see it is working. So next, what I'm gonna do is create a naked chain for my spine. So I just need another bone where the neck is, and then I can either choose again the constraints inverse kinematics, or if I click on the control ball, then on the spine bone, and use the shortcut Shift I on my keyboard, it will ask me to add the constraint for me. Okay? Now my spine is working. I will do the same for the arms, having a control bone where the wrist is. Okay? And now again, don't forget that the control bone must be disconnected and unparented from the rig. Okay? Just adding the pole bone now. And once this is all done and working, I will just copy this onto the other side. Okay? The last thing I'm gonna do is to include my neck and my head into the layers of my control bones, because I also want to be able to move my head. Okay? So here, another thing is that you have the option in the armature parameters to modify the visual aspects of your bones. Okay, you've got several parameters. This one I kinda like. This one is just a mess like that. Okay, and then it doesn't have any effects on the result. It's just a visual aspect of the bones. So I'm gonna just choose them like that for the moment. What you can also do for each bone is to select a custom object to replace the visual aspect of it. So I'm gonna create a few of their objects, some spheres and some cubes, and then I'm gonna replace my control bones with those objects. Okay, selecting the custom object parameter. And this way, they will be displayed just the way I want them to be displayed. Okay, and now it's even easier for me to select them and to animate my character. Okay, and the root bone, you can see it is used to move or to place the entire character somewhere before you start animating it. So next, what I'm gonna do is locking some of the bones. Okay, because I can't display the mesh because it is too heavy, then the scaling is not right. So I'm just gonna use this shape for my bones to show you the animation. I can lock some of the bones so that I can only select my control bones and my pole bones. Okay? And here I've made a mistake with the hips. The hips should be the hips. Okay, so it shouldn't be modified. It should be used as a control bone, and then we should create another bone which will be the roots, and that I will place at the bottom of the character between its 2 feet. Okay? So once this is modified, I can start animating. Okay? And to animate a walk cycles, you can start with the 4 major key poses, which are the down pose. Okay? Then you've got something called the passing pose. Okay? While your leg is passing the other one. The up pose, where you just raise a bit your character and your front leg. And then the contact pose, where your leg touch the ground. Okay? And if you animate them one by one like that, you can see that after a while, you can have something that looks like a step. Okay? What you can do from now is to go to the top sheet instead of using the timeline. Okay? And there in the panel on the left, if you display what's inside the summary toggle, you can see that we have all the keys for all our control bones. And what we can do from here is copy one of the key pose and then use the menu pose, paste, pose flipped, meaning that it will paste the same pose but flip it the other way. And if we do that for all our 4 key poses and we add the first key at the end and stop our timeline 1 frame before, because this will just create a loop, then you can have your walk cycle. Okay, I'm just gonna scale the keys on my timeline so that it's not too fast. Okay, this is called also the timing. The amount of time between two keys will change the way your character is walking. Okay, and now if I play this, you can see that the character is walking. He's got a strange walk. He's like kind of dancing while he's walking, and this is then up to you. But you can see that with just 4 key poses, we've got something that looks like a walk cycle. After that, if you want to refine any animation, once you've created the key poses, then the timing, you can add what is called in-between keys, okay, which are keys in between 2 key poses to add details and smooth out a bit the movements. And then we would work on the curves, because human movements always move with curves. It's never going straight from one place to another. That way, using animation curves, we can smooth the movement and make it more natural. Okay, so that's still a first good step. Okay, having this walk cycle even with 4 key poses, because it's understandable, it's readable as a walk cycle. I hope this was useful, and to see what you came up with your walk. Okay, can be something very, very strange like what I'm doing, or something more natural or neutral. Okay, so have a great week as usual, everyone. Have a good day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.